My name is Stephen Wells, and I'm the Executive Director of the Animal Legal Defense Fund, and I'm here with a man who truly needs no introduction. This is Bob Barker, is one of America's best known and loved television personalities. And Bob is also very well known as an animal rights advocate, and we really appreciate you talking to us.
Thank you, and you've left out one of our party here. This is Jessie down here.
I wasn't sure if she
Jessie is a shelter dog, of course.
Bob has just finished his autobiography, and it's going to be in print soon. We have a copy here. It's called Priceless Memories. And Bob, what can you tell us about the book and the process of writing it, and when will it be available?
Well, I think the most important thing about the book is that if it should happen to make profits, that it will everything will go to the DJ&T Foundation, which subsidizes spay-neuters for dogs all over the United States. And so I would like to urge everyone to buy it and remind you the price is right.
So one of your most famous lines from the Price is Right, and one that I'm sure our membership and animal lovers everywhere will recall, is the way you finished each and every episode of The Price. And that was to encourage people to spay and neuter their pets.
Absolutely.
And so many people are aware of that, and people know you're an animal lover, but you've really been involved in a lot of animal rights issues.
I have.
And it was interesting reading your book. I did not know personally how many. Are there any particular issues you're really passionate about?
Well, I'm passionate about all of them. Animal exploitation comes in many ugly forms, and yes, this is animal mistreatment. She's not being petted.
That's right.
And I've tried to do what I could in the fight against all of them. One of the most tragic animal problems, I think, is overpopulation. There are just too many cats and dogs born in the United States for them all to have homes. There are people who, across the country, thousands and thousands of people, and organizations that devote their time, their energy, and their money to find homes for these cats and dogs, and these people are doomed to disappointment because the homes do not exist. And the only answer, and the obvious answer, is spay and neuter. That's why I closed every show by reminding people to help control the pet population, have your pet spayed or neutered. And that's why I established the DJ&T Foundation, which subsidizes spay-neuters all over the United States.
Now, DJ&T, if I remember, is named after your wife of 36 years.
37 years. Dorothy Jo, and my mother, whose name was Matilda, but everyone called her Tilly, DJ&T. And they were both animal lovers, and I'm sure that they are pleased with this.
And now, when you first began to become aware of animal issues, and I know you were a lifelong animal lover, but when you became more of an animal rights advocate and got involved, was Dorothy Jo's influence a big part of that, or? Well,
she did influence me, yes, very much. She influenced me, but without she didn't. It wasn't a matter of her trying to change anything about me or how I thought. It was just the way she did it by example. For example, she became a vegetarian before I did. But the more I learned about, then became aware about animals, I soon joined her and became a vegetarian. Over the years, I had bought her furs. She stopped wearing them. And I bought her a nice leather jacket, I remember, and a coat, full-length coat. She never wore it, and I got the message, and I got thinking about and reading about fur, and I too became more aware of the terrible mistreatment of animals in the production of fur. That's why I had this fur flap later with the pageants, when I threatened to leave the pageants. And she, as I say, she was never an active animal rights advocate, but she lived it. and she lived it before anyone else I know of. I mean, she was in the vanguard, and she did influence me, yes.
You know, you and the Animal Legal Defense Fund share a history and also an urgent need to get animal law taught in major law schools.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So I know you have given an enormous boost to that effort by providing grants to some of the top law schools in the country to encourage them to do that. What was what made you decide to choose animal law as a focus for your animal rights activism?
Well, I came to the conclusion that what we really need is legislation. We need stronger laws. We need more legislation, but we also need stringent enforcement of the laws that we already have in the books. There are many laws in the books that would, dogfighting for one example, if they'd get out and really try to break up this dogfighting, but now with this Vic did more for the anti-dogfighting campaign than anyone could possibly do, I think. Mm-hmm. And now there are more investigations and there are more arrests. But my thought was, I set up these endowment funds in some of the finest law schools in the United States. There are 8 of them now. I just did one in University of Virginia. Mm-hmm. And I had, if a graduate becomes a lawyer and practices law and he has a case involving an animal, he'll have some sort of background, at least know where to go to get more information. If he becomes a judge, then he's in a position to make decisions possibly involving animals, and hopefully he'll make the right decision if he's had a little background. But maybe the most valuable, many of our legislators have legal backgrounds, and if they go into politics on the local level or on the state level or on the national level, they're dealing with legislation, and there they can really help animals.
And the book, again, is Priceless Memories, Bob Barker's autobiography, and it's available when again?
It will be in bookstores on April 6th.
Next month.
April 6th. And if for no other reason that you might be interested in this book, I have a dog. You talked about strays. I found him. This is Federico. I was driving out to see a friend of mine, Nancy Burnett, in Riverside. And as I drove along, it was evening, I saw the body of a dog in the street. And I went on to Nancy's home, but I was worried about that dog. I wondered, was it dead? I assumed it was dead, but was it injured? So Nancy, who is an animal rights activist par excellence, she has United Activists for Animal Rights, and she does a great job. She came back with me. And the little dog was dead. But in some shrubbery, we heard a dog growling at us. And he came out, but I tried to get him over to me and get him into the car. He had no license, no nothing. It was Federico. Mm. And obviously, he was a friend of this dog that had been hit by a car. And he was there guarding that body. Mm. And the only way we could get him into my car was to pick the body up and put it in the car, and he jumped in with it.
Wow.
I right then decided he was going to be with me from now on, and there he is. Most popular fan picture I ever had. People would write and ask for the picture of Federico with Bob Barker. Federico got top billing.
That's a fitting tribute.
That story's in the book, of course.
Along with many, many others. I enjoyed the book immensely. And thank you again for taking the time to talk with our members and your fans, and really appreciate it.
I thank you who have watched it. I thank you, and I thank Jessie for being such a good girl. I taught her everything she knows. She knows how to sleep.